All right, so we're going to move on to healing and coping.
Okay.
All right, we're going to talk about healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms. How do we begin to heal
Mm-hmm.
when we're grieving something that society doesn't deem as like grief, or they don't recognize it as grief? Like, say I'm losing a friendship, we've been friends for 20 years and
Mm-hmm.
then it abruptly ends, or like unmet expectations. Like I talk to a lot of women and they're like, I'm 30, I'm 40, and I really wish I was at this peak of my career, or I would have bought a house by now, or I would have been married by now. Like, I don't think society sees that as grief, but we know that there can be grief in that. So how do we begin to heal in that when a lot of people don't even see that it's grief?
Well, first and foremost, keep society out of your business.
Mm,
Because society can only tell you things from what they've experienced.
right, their level.
Not all the time will they give you information. It's almost like going on Google
Mm-hmm.
and asking Google to give you a diagnosis. Google doesn't know you. So why
Right.
would you think society would know anything about you besides what you put on your social media pages and whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what your life is truly about. They
Right.
can only put you, that's where the stereotypes and stigmas come in. I'm stereotyping you as a woman who is saying, oh, I'm coping with the loss of a relationship. Then I put you in a box of other women who are
Mm,
coping with a relationship, expecting for you to be the same as they are. Not everybody, just the same thing with teachers. Everybody learn different. Everybody process grief and loss differently
right.
because those are things we're not taught.
Mm,
We're not taught how to process grief. We're not taught that growing up as a kid, oh, one day I may not be here. That's one thing I did with my children. Growing up when I raised them, being a single mom, I would tell them, hey, one day I may not be here, but I want to best prepare you, so let's make
mm,
these memorable moments so nobody could tell you that they knew your mom better than you knew your mom. I get asked the question a lot of times. I have 4 children. Who's my favorite? All of them.
mm-hmm.
Why? Because they all have different personalities. That's a part of me. So
Mm-hmm.
something happened to me, they can sit there and do what they do right now. And I'm telling you, whenever we have family gatherings, I find out stories I never knew. They be telling me stuff, and I be sitting up there as their mom, like, I can't discipline you right now because you're older. But when you were younger, had I known that. But those are stories that they can share with each other to say, hey, I remember mom with this. My relationship with mom was different than yours, but this is, and honestly, every last one of my children, when they tell you a story about me, it coincides where they can sit there and laugh about it. But
Mm,
if I was to allow society to raise them and social to raise them, their opinion and thought process of me would be totally different. So having them to cope with the loss of me, having them to cope with the loss, even with my mom,
right.
I taught them. They knew because I told them the truth about what was going on with my mom. So when
Mm-hmm.
my mom left early as she did, because she could have still been here, they understood. And their opinion was, hey mom, I'm okay. If anything happens with Granny, because that's what they call her,
Mm-hmm.
we're good. Right now to this day, we still sit down and talk about things that my mom did.
Wow.
But we do that in celebration of her. We're not mourning or having these fits and everything of,
Right.
oh my God, if mom was here to, I sit there and say, hey, my mom cooked a dish. How can I perfect that? My mom's birthday is coming up next month. The funniest thing that happened to me was I called myself going by myself to do a balloon release party in
Mm-hmm.
Galveston for my mom for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently, my mom didn't want those balloons because they went a whole different direction.
Oh no!
Evidently, she did not want
Yes.
those
She was like,
balloons.
hold
She
on.
was like, take them back. As a matter of fact, I was across the street from Landy's restaurant, and I was down there, and the balloons went towards the restaurant. I was like,
She's
oh,
like,
so
this is what
that's
I'm
where you
going.
want to go over
She said, I'm
there?
going to
Okay, I could have had a balloon party over there and took myself out to eat. But that's the thing. I can laugh about that because I made peace within myself. I didn't
Right.
allow society, and this is even before I became a therapist. I didn't allow society to dictate
Right.
my process of a loss.
Right.
That's the thing that we as human beings have to stop doing. We have to stop allowing society and the look of society to tell us how we can process a loss
Mm-hmm.
and how we
Mm.
can cope with it. We find all these different coping skills. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna think about my mom. I'm gonna think about my dad. I'm gonna think about my cousin because I'm gonna go on social media and find something that's talking about that thing to help me remember. But it really help you remember because
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at somebody else's story. What's your story?
Right.
What can you tell me about that person? What can you tell me about that person that impacted your life so gratefully that I can sit there and just smile with you
Right.
about it? But
Mm-hmm.
also often, and I was just talking to um, my special person. We was talking about that last night. How you know people go and they go on social media constantly, and you're always on social media. And when you're on social media, from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep at night, it tells your story. It tells your life. I bet you if I pulled up a lot of people who say they want therapy,
Mm-hmm.
pull up their phone, 90% of their time they're on social media
Wow.
because you don't want to deal with the process.
Yep.
You're covering it up. You don't want to deal with it. So come sit with me and let's deal with it. Let's have those conversations. Like I say, I do open chair conversations. We're sitting there and
Mm-hmm.
I want you to express what it is that you're dealing with and
Mm-hmm.
tell that person, hey, yeah, I didn't get a chance to tell you I love you, but I'm going to tell you I love you. And then I'm going to ask you, how did that make you feel after telling them that you love them?
Right.
It may show some relief, but not necessarily so. But then again, all too often, our coping skill is social media and we become overstimulated.
Right.
And then when it's time for you to deal with the process or handle the process of what you lost, you don't want to
Right.
because you didn't covered it up.
Right. And you don't have the tools.
No,
Mm.
I'm going to give you the tools
Right.
and they're going to be very unapologetic.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm not going to tell you is to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you anything of a sort that will cause you to have a negative response.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am going to tell you is, and a lot of times I'll say it, that person loved you just as much as you love that person. But to be respectful of that person, they will want to see you in a better place. Because they ain't trying to come back here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They not trying to come back here. They don't. They not trying to come back. If anything, if they could come back, they would tell you, get yourself together. Because you are missing out on life. You're supposed to be here to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I want you to cope. Cope with thinking and knowing that I love you. The healing process is knowing that I love you.
Right.
And if I didn't love you, you would have known it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you would have known it. But a lot of people
Right.
love us, but they love us from the capacity that they can.
They can. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we talked about, like support in grieving.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about the healthy and unhealthy ways of like coping mechanisms. So like when I say unhealthy, like turning to like drugs and
Mm-hmm.
alcohol
Mm-hmm.
or isolating yourself. What is a good balance? Because I also want to incorporate healthy
Mm-hmm.
boundaries of like having someone support you in your grief and then not having clear boundaries.
So my question to anybody who brings up on a dual coping skill, such as substance and alcohol, were you doing it before the person left?
Mm,
Let's be honest.
right.
Were you really drinking, doing drugs, or anything like that before that person left? Because now you're finding an excuse. Now, and I'm gonna tell you, why are you lying on that person like that?
Mm,
Why are you lying and say, "Oh, my mom passed, so I started smoking crack"? Really? Did you was you doing that before your mama left? So now you blaming your mama for you taking up an illicit drug. You think she happy with that? No.
Right.
Oh, I'm doing alcohol. I started drinking. No, you have not found a way to better cope and address the situation more and talk about it more because you want to subdue it. You want to suppress it. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to come up anyway.
Right.
Because if you're doing a soft drug, you may not ever go into a hard drug because of the loss of a loved one, of a loss of a situation. It's just like this commercial. I don't know if anybody remember this commercial back in the days where this guy was working and he was like in this four corner room
Mm-hmm.
and he says, I do more drugs so I can go to work and do more work. And he just kept going in a circle. I do more
Mm-hmm.
drugs so I can go to work so I can do more work. I do more drugs so I can go to work. Well, if your job is causing you to do drugs, then are you really in the right
Mm-hmm.
position?
Right.
Are you really at the right job that you need to be at? And that's another that when I say grief is a huge umbrella,
Yeah.
grief comes in so many different ways. You could be grieving the fact that you're in a job that you no longer want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna sit there. Why? Because it brings income. It gives you insurance.
Yeah.
But you're not happy. You're not happy.
I think
That's
that's a lot
grief.
of. I think that's a lot of people out there
That's
are sitting in
grief.
jobs that they.
No.
Yeah.
Some people really need to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Some people really do need the 9 to 5. The ones that are really not disciplined enough to know that you need to really do the things you need to do in life. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's some people who have jobs who still cannot financially take care of themselves. They have
Mm-hmm.
all the money they need and all the means that they need, but don't have the financial literacy to do what they need to do to
Right.
take care of themselves. So they're grieving, they're in depression.
Right. Okay. So for listeners, I want to try to give them a little practical advice. For listeners who are grieving silently, what are some daily practices to help them?
If you're grieving silently, this is where the journaling comes in. Write it out. Write out what it is that's causing you that grief. Right now, today, we have technology. You have your phone. Do a voice recording for yourself. Do a note for yourself. Do something that you don't want nobody to know what process you're in. Write it out, verbalize it, talk about it. I give you permission to talk to yourself. I'm just going to say it like
Yeah.
this. I give you permission to talk to yourself. You do it at the grocery store, you do it at the restaurant. You do it whenever you're doing something by yourself. You be in a grocery store. Do I really need these peaches? Yeah, I kind of need these peaches. Do I really want to cook this dinner tonight? Maybe not. I'll cook this dinner tonight. You conversate with yourself all the time. Talk to yourself when you're talking in silence about grief. Okay? Write it out, record it, listen to yourself. Therapists, what we do is called talk therapy. You're talking that thing out. You're talking what it is that's going on. So if you're suffering in silence when it comes to grief, when you're suffering in silence because anything that loss or coping, talk it out loud. Go on a walk, a nature walk.
I love those.
Talk
Mm.
it out. You don't have to be in silence. And honestly, when I say I give you permission to talk to yourself, you're not crazy. Stop using the word crazy. That's another word. Because I'm going to tell you, define it. What's the definition of crazy in the vocabulary? Tell me what it is.
Y'all
I'm going to tell
paying
you,
attention?
anytime you tell me something that you don't fully have an understanding for, I'm going to ask you, bring a dictionary with you because you're going to have to define that word with me. Same as people talking about accountability. You're not accountable. You're responsible for you, but I make you go accountable. You can't be accountable for yourself because you don't even know what you're being accountable for. Can I make you responsible? Be responsible with taking care of yourself when it comes to grief. Be responsible when it comes to taking care of yourself on any level of grief. May it be silence, may it be verbally, may it be out open, may it be losing a job, loved one, dog, cat, mother, friend, job. Even if even if you lost something in the house and you can't find it,
Mm-hmm.
and you are really making yourself just really, I know I can find this stuff. I know where I placed it. I've been there before. I had some documentations. I know I was in grief because I was looking for those things.
I'm grieving the documents right now.
I was
Hold on.
because these people are asking me for these documents, and if I don't find these documents, I'm gonna
Right.
lose this, and
Wow.
I just went into a mode, and I was like,
Wow.
you know what? I'm in shock because I can't find this.
Yeah.
Then I'm in pain because I'm hurting because I can't. I need to find this documentation because if I don't
Mm-hmm.
find this documentation, I'm gonna have a problem. Then I went into denial. Nah, I didn't lose these. I didn't lose these papers. They somewhere in this drawer. Then I went into the fact of bargaining. I'm sure if I find this, maybe I can reprint it again, or maybe I didn't lose it. Did I really
Mm.
lose the
Wow.
paperwork? You know,
Yeah.
I didn't get into depression. I didn't
You're like,
go there.
I'm not going that far.
No, not at all. But I did sit with myself. And then I was like,
That's
okay, I
hilarious.
accept the fact that I cannot find these papers. I know
Yeah.
they're somewhere inside of here. So when you experience any type of grief, pull those 7 stages up.
Mm-hmm.
See where you are in those stages. Have a conversation with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Am I really in shock about this thing? Am I really in the grieving process of what level, what stage I'm in?
Right.
And do not ever silence yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Because when you shut yourself off, you shut yourself from resources. You shut yourself from being a better part of yourself. You shut yourself off from all great things behind something that you could just have a simple conversation
Mm.
about. Just a simple
Right.
conversation. Hey, I'm feeling this type of way. How can I cope? What are coping skills? Go on a walk. Find something that you enjoy doing, even if it's creating an art piece. Some people who are artists.
Right.
I have this thing that I do, and I'm getting ready to start doing this called painting your trauma on a canvas.
Wow.
When you paint your trauma on that canvas, you're speaking volumes and you're actually walking a healing process of healing through that trauma. And what does those colors look like to you? Your colors may not be my colors because that's my own. But when I'm painting, each stroke is breaking you of freedom and of healing. Each stroke of that brush.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that. Look. All right. So I want to not just talk about grief and coping, but also like how do we emerge from grief and really start tapping back into the joy of life and not just the loss? Like, how do we make space for joy while we're grieving or trying to come out of grief?
That's going to be a personal purpose.
Mm.
You have to personally purpose yourself to get through that process.
Yeah.
It's not ever overnight. It's not, because if you have somebody in your life, and say for instance, like for me, I turn 54 next month. My dad turned 72. So besides him being a teenage dad, because my dad was 18 when he had me, I have to look at the 54 years of my life that he has impacted my life.
Right.
And I look at that, and when I'm talking about just, I have to purpose my joy and purpose my healing through that, being that something happens to my dad. Just the same, I had to do that with my mom. I had to create a purpose to know that she was in my life for the time that she was in my life. And what did I get out of that? That's the one thing we don't ever do. We don't sit down and use the Ruth method.
What's that?
The youth method.
Mm-hmm.
Before she met Boaz, what she do? She gleaned in the field, meaning that she went out there, she worked, she practiced with her hands, she was out there gleaning. To us, what I would say is, what is your takeaway? What did you gather in that field of life with that loved one?
Wow.
What did you gather in that field of life with that job? What did you gather in that field of life with your relationship? We don't ever look at that. We look at the harsh part of it, the hardness, what made us sad, what put us in grief. But what was your takeaway?
Mm-hmm.
We don't ever think about the takeaways.
Right. Mm.
How did you manage in that relationship? What would have made you a better wife? Would have made you a better husband? What in friendship would have made you a better friend? If it ended in that type of relationships end, just like life,
Mm-hmm.
inevitable. If it's really meant to be, it'll happen in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship. If it's really meant to be, things will happen in that type of way. But we forget to sit in it and learn what we need to take away from
Right. That was awesome advice. I love that.
it.
All right. So we're going to talk about like unconventional grief.
Okay.
So I want to talk about financial grief, that's losing stability, losing your lifestyle with like your job. I want to talk about like we talked about relational grief, about losing like a partner, a friend, an estranged family member. The grief of expectations, like I might be, 30 thinking, yeah, I should have a home, I should have this. We've talked about that, but I also want to talk about um identity. You talked
Mm-hmm.
a little bit about that, but societal grief, with like changes in the world, not even just like in our nation. We are going through as a nation a lot
Mm-hmm.
of changes. I don't want to talk about like what side, what your beliefs are, personal beliefs are, but we do have to acknowledge that our world in this nation is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are holding a lot of grief, whether they're saying this is a good change or this is not a good change, this is a bad change, but there is a change that we can't ignore.
Right.
And how do we accept a changing world that we might not be ready to accept?
So when you were talking about that, the main word came to my mind was expectations.
Mm,
We put a lot of expectations on things that should not be.
mm,
That's even with finances,
mm-hmm,
that's with relationships, that's with um, different things that you're talking about. Society. We put things on society, expectations
mm-hmm,
that shouldn't be. Why would you expect something to give you something that you don't even know what you really want?
mm,
Do you know what you really want?
mm,
And if you don't know what you really want, that's when you start putting expectations on things. How can I expect for you to give something to me that I can't even give to myself?
mm,
How can I say, even for, like you said, being of age, and you're saying, I expected to be in a house, I expected to be in a car, I expected to be married, but did you best prepare yourself, you, the individual, for these things?
right.
You can get a house, and I said this before, and my podcast, of course, I did a segment at the beginning of the year, and a lot of people get into these things of vision boards.
Mm-hmm,
And a vision board is an expectation of something that you want for yourself.
mm-hmm,
But how can you expect to get a Tesla when you can't even pay for a Nissan?
mm-hmm,
How can you expect to buy a house or say that you should have been in a house when you never knew how to manage your money to even pay for your apartment, and you're constantly getting eviction notices every so
mm,
often? You have to get into the point of purposing and being intentional about where you are and how you're processing a thing. May it be financial relationship, what be intentional and stop expecting for things just to, like they say, fall in your lap. Ladies are expecting for guys to fall in their laps. It's supposed to be this perfect man, me and her.
mm-hmm,
I was asked this one question one time by this young lady, and she was like, "Where are all the good men?" I said, "Probably somewhere looking for all the good women."
mm-hmm,
She said, "What you mean?" I said, "Because we have this great expectation of, oh, he has to be this height. He has to be, over 6 feet. He got to be, bank account. He got to have, but do you have all this?
mm,
Do you know what he's expecting? Do you know what he's desiring? No.
mm,
Three things I talk about in a session. One, your wants, your needs, and your desires. Your desires will furnish your needs will furnish your wants. But you have to have those things in that order.
Mm.
But if you're expecting for your desires, or you're expecting for your wants to cover your needs and your desires, you need to go back to the drawing board.
Mm.
But society have us at the stage of we have to expect certain things for certain people that are unrealistic.
Mm.
I see a couple on social media having this wonderful wedding. Then I didn't went into depression because I'm not there yet. It
Right.
may not be your time. What have you
Mm-hmm.
done to put yourself in that position? I see somebody riding around and they telling you, I, hmm, unapologetically,
Yeah. Okay. Real talk is coming.
unapologetically, okay? You see people who say that they made $1 billion in a year, but if you actually sit them down and ask them, can you tell me how did you really do this? They couldn't give you the full story.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't. You thinking they did that in a year. And that could have been something that took them 20 something years. There, people are too afraid to tell you the downfall, but they quick to tell you what really happened.
Right.
The upside of it. They don't want to tell you the progress of it because of shame, grief. I
Mm.
grieved through this process. I was in shock because I made this Bitcoin investment. It caused me pain because I lost everything that I had. Then I went into bargaining. So I started asking people to give me money. I started
Mm.
making these upsells so I can invest back into that investment.
Right.
And in doing so, this is how I got here. But a lot of people don't want to tell you the bad part. They
Mm.
just want you to believe the good part. Me, I'm gonna tell you the bad part.
Yeah.
14, two suicide attempts,
Mm.
unsuccessful. But then when I thought about it, the last time I tried to commit suicide was when I looked at my children and I said, I don't want them to feel as if they were the reason why I committed suicide. I didn't
Right.
want them to feel the pain and the guilt of thinking that they were the reason behind it. I didn't want that. But a lot of people don't think of it that way. I used to say, and I was told that I could not say it because it was unethical.
Mm.
But I said suicide was selfish.
Yeah.
That was my opinion
I've heard that
because I
before.
had to sit down within myself and realize if I did that, I'm saying everybody who said that they loved me and cared about me was lying because I felt it was a feeling that I felt that I was not
Mm.
loved, that I was not cared for. And then I sat there and I thought about it and I was like, if I do this, I'm hurting those main people that I have been a part of their life for 14 years. Then I'm hurting these people that I have been a part of their life for 37 years.
Mm.
Because I created some expectations and they were not fulfilled. So then I said, what's the use?
Mm.
And I thought about that. I was like, that was really selfish of me. Because for years they would have had to deal with the fact of me committing suicide.
Right.
Then they would have had to go through the healing process,
Yeah.
the grief.
And perpetuating.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah. That's that's a lot. I'm
yeah.
glad you're here.
Thank you.
If someone's struggling with suicide, what is like a piece of advice that you can give to them or something that they can try to do to pull themselves out of that?
First, let's be honest with ourselves. Why are you wanting to commit suicide? My piece of advice, even though there is a toll free number, the suicide hotline, you have 988, which I've gotten some bad stories about
Mm.
988, and I'm thinking of how we can change that. But even with that being, if you have a very, very close loved one, a very, very close friend that you can actually sit there and say, hey, I don't need you to talk. I just need you to listen to me. Just hear me out. But as human beings, our first response is, I'm listening, but I'm listening to respond. Instead of I'm listening so I can hear exactly what it is that you're saying, so I'll know how to approach the situation a lot better. We're quick to respond and slow to listen. So if someone is attempting or have a suicidal ideation, first and foremost, if I really wanted to kill myself, I'm not going to tell you. That's the truth about suicide.
Yeah.
If I really want to do it, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to see the signs because I'm going to start getting rid of stuff. And I'm going to start, moving back, and you'll start seeing me less and less. But a lot of times those who are saying they want to commit suicide, it's a cry for help. But what are you crying for? What is hurting you the most that you feel like that you serve no purpose here on this earth? Let me help you find that. Let me help you get to where that purpose is, because you need to be here. If you were not meant to be here, you wouldn't have never been created. There's a purpose for us all. May you be one that believe it spiritually or not. You're here for a reason. You're here to touch somebody's life to some kind of capacity to make them feel like they need to be here. So if you're having suicidal ideations, if you're thinking of harming yourself in any type of capacity, I'm open. I see new patients. You can see me you can DM me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can DM me. And I say this with a pure heart. I am for everybody. And the reason why I am for everybody, if I can't service you, I have an arsenal of people who can. So I'm gonna make sure you get to where you need to get to. I don't gatekeep is what they call it.
Right.
I don't
No
gatekeep
gatekeeping.
anybody. If it's something that I know that I'm not equipped to cover, I will make sure that you get exactly where you need to get.
Right.
So if you are thinking, if it is on your heart that you feel like that you have no purpose of being here,
Right.
contact me.
Exactly. There is support out here.
Exactly.
So just reach out.
And I'm all about quality. I'm not about the numbers. You're not a number to me. I want to make sure that you receive quality services.
Right.
I'm not trying to hit a target or goal or mark. I would love to have more than 35 people on my caseload a month. But okay, I still have to look at the fact of the quality of service that I provide that's going to bring in other people that need my service. No, I'm not going to, no, I'm not a numbers person.
Right. It's quality. Yep. And before we kind of close out, I do want to talk about some of the like physical effects of grief and trauma. Like I know I talked to someone and they were reading a book after someone passed away. Their hearing got clogged, like they had a clog. And someone in a grieving book said that after their parent passed away, their ears were clogged. I know there's different traumas that affect the body, the psychosomatic. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Anytime that you're experiencing grief and you don't want to process it, just the same as anything else, it does mess with you internally. It does. When you're dealing with stress, when you're dealing with pain, you're dealing with shock, you're dealing with denial, all that stuff starts here in the mind, and then it starts affecting the body. Because then you don't eat. You don't eat correctly. Then you're so stressed out, you forget to even go on a walk. You forget to drink water. Just your body is also experiencing that trauma.
Right.
So find out what it is. What is the trauma? What is causing the trauma? So we can effectively get you to a healthier space also. Because your mental health is your wealth.
Yeah.
And if your mental health is not wealthy, then your body is not healthy.
I like that. All right. Do you want to share any like reflections, any general advice for the viewers before we tap
Well,
out?
I would stop thinking that therapy is a bad thing. Society makes therapy look so bad. We're not here to judge. I'll tell you up front, my sessions are no judgment zone. I'm not judging you because I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. But 9 times out of 10, whatever you are processing, I have grown through. I do therapy off of experience.
Mm-hmm.
I did the book. I went to school, got the master's, working on the PhD, but that's for me. But anytime that you're dealing with something, grief, depression, loss, it's okay to find, and not every therapist is a fit. You want to find somebody that's going to fit you. Now, if you want the unapologetic side of life, where I don't sugarcoat and I sometimes become a part of the cursing ministry, and you're okay with that, come see me. Because I'm not going to give you anything that I wouldn't want somebody not to give me in a
Mm-hmm.
session. But if you want somebody that's going to pamper you and you'll be okay, and then a few months later, you then went into another circle of mental health, that's if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But at the end of the day, I want to see your wealth and your mental health more than I do watching you walk this earth without fulfilling your purpose.
Right. I love that. And what's one way that they can keep in touch with you if they want to be like a new patient of yours? How do they get a hold of you?
So I do accept all insurance on all major platforms. I'm getting ready to actually be. I just finished the thing for Medicaid, Medicare, actually through Optum and healthcare. But you can find me on Psychology Today. My name is Marticia Sherman. It's Martica Sherman. I'm on Psychology Today. I'm on Headway. I'm on Alma. I'm even on this new thing that goes by your what you can pay out of pocket.
Oh,
It's
wow.
called Open Path for those who don't have insurance, but don't have enough funds. They have a budget to pay
Mm-hmm.
for services. It's called Open Path. You can see me on that. You can reach me on all social media platforms. You can even text or call. Our company line is 346-525-4981. We do accept text messages. Our website is www, the letter Y, H is in Harry, E is in Edward, C is in Charles, the number 8, N is in Nancy, T is in Tom. I have to spell it out.
Yeah,
.com.
absolutely.
It's whyhecan't.com. And you can also look on there and see what we got going on. We're gearing up for some major events also,
Okay.
talking about mental health. We
Yeah.
just did something in July. We're doing something in December, not December, January and February. We'll
Okay.
be hosting a couple of events, January and February.
Awesome.
Because again, that statement, what you don't know won't hurt you, what you don't know will hurt you. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
being on the show.
you.
Y'all make sure to check her out.